Time to take a look at pointers. They'll give our pages a little bit of interactivity, not as much as JavaScript will, but a little bit. Here we have a simple page. You can see that we're floating an image. You can see that we have text. We put in a little bit of a margin here. You can also see if I do this that we get the I-bar cursor. If I go over text, over here I have the standard cursor, and then over here I have the pointer cursor, and that tells me that I'm over a link. So if I click that, I go to that page. I click this, I go to that page, and so on. And you notice that this has also been made a link. If I click this, I go to something in the Atlantic. Nice magazine and an interesting article here. And so that is what we see here in terms of links. But the question is, how do we do it? Well, first of all, let's take a quick look. Here is the styling that gives us this. But then we come down to where we get the links. And let's go to the bottom first. If you can do images, you can do links. Here's an image. And you remember that in the image, we have an attribute called source, src, and that we give it the name of the file that holds the image, and then it does the rest for us. Now this is assuming that the image is in the same folder as this HTML document here. Well, similarly, we can create additional HTML documents. So if I have inside HTML, here is the HTML document for it. This defines this page right here. Here's the image that it gets. Here's the text that it outputs, and you can see that that's the same as right over there. And so we can create other pages and link from one of our pages to another. And how do we do that? Well, we do it the same way that we did images. As long as this document here is in the same folder as this document here, all I have to do is I don't use a source, but I use href. And it has basically the same purpose. So I take href and I just put in here the name of the document inside double quotes, just the same way I do for files that hold images. So that's easy. Now this link here is a little different from the other links because this is not a page that I created. I'm linking to something that's out there on the web. So how do I do that? Well, this is the link that does it here. And so I have my href, and all of that is the URL that tells me where to find this. So it will almost always start with https:// and then you put in the URL, and of course this is within double quotes, and that's how you can link to something off-site, something away from your site, some other site on the web. Now something else to notice about these, when we did images are singleton tags. That is not true of these links, and these links use what are called anchors. That A stands for anchor, just like IMG stands for image. So this is an image tag, this is an anchor. And you'll notice that anchors are paired tags. We have an opening tag and we have a closing tag. So I've got my opening tag is the one where I put the href that tells me where it's going to go, and then this closes it. And inside is where I put the text that will appear. So here it's inside a building. You can see the text for this is, this one here is the wood, which is the same as there, cobblestones, ... cobblestones, ... and so on. So it's a pair of tags. The opening tag has the href part that tells us where to go to get the new page. The closing part comes after the text that is going to be the clickable thing that allows us to follow the link here. But this, you notice, doesn't have text. I mean, I can't click. If I try to click this text, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just the image. And so we can take a look at how that works. So we have images that we can click as links. We have the opening tag here, and that is just what we had down here. And then we put in our image element, and then we follow with the closing tag. So it's really just that easy. It's not hard at all. The only thing to remember is that whatever it is that's going to appear on the page that you click in order to follow the link has to come between the opening tag and the closing tag. Now something else that you see here is that we have an unordered list, and our unordered list provides us with our links, and sometimes that's a fairly common way of doing links. You'll notice that with standard links, we have a different color for a link that we visited versus a link that we haven't visited. And you notice that it's standard for links to have underlining. So links by default are underlined. Now there's one other thing I want to show you. Right now, if I click inside a building, you notice that it takes over the same tab where the original page was. If I want to go to the original page, I need to back up. I can, if I want to, make the result of a link appear in a new tag. And that's not hard at all. Let's just do it for inside a building. So here's inside a building. And so we're going to come here, and the way you do it is you use the target attribute. So the name of the attribute is target, and you give it the value of underscore blank, just like that. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to reload, and now watch what happens up here when I click this link. You see there, Park is still in its own tab right there. It created a new tab and put the page on the new tab. So that's what that does. And to show that it works that way, you notice we haven't done that for the wood. So if I click the wood, then it comes in over top of the original page. And if I want to get back to that page, I have to use the back arrow. Whereas here, it's in a completely different tab. So the way to make it go to a completely different tab is to use the target attribute and give it the value underscore blank, and of course, like all of our attribute values, we put it in double quotes. Single quotes would also work, but we put it in quotes.